Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the One-on-One podcast. My name is Josh Katz. If you guys watch the video portion of this podcast, you'll see I'm kind of in a different position, so it's a little new for me. I'm staring directly at Kathy now as opposed to cocking my head to the right.
We get to see your whole face now.
Which, that was really annoying a lot of our internal people. They said that their neck was hurting as they were watching me on video, so we changed it all up. So, Kathy, it's good to see you right in front of me.
It's good to see you. I'm liking the front version, and even though that was your best side.
Honestly, I feel like I had more to hide. Like I could hide better. And,
nope.
You know,
you're all out and open now.
And we also have Ryan here, who's always joined back in the corner. Thank you for being here, Ryan. We are also joined by one of the partners with Realty ONE Group. For those that have been to some of our events, he's probably a pretty recognizable face, but the CEO of Certified New Home Specialist, Dennis Walsh, is with us. Welcome, Dennis.
Well, thank you.
How are you?
Great, fantastic.
We off camera.
What is miss? Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just
Kathy.
say what's missing today? What's missing today is Dennis's partner, Teresa. And Tree couldn't be with us. I'm sure she's out doing something incredible. But just so you know, Dennis, Ryan is a newlywed. Oh. So you come to us. You and Tree have been together. I think you shared with us over 35 years.
Almost 30. Yeah.
Almost 37. So congratulations on that. And Ryan, that's your goal, buddy.
We're going on almost 35 days. So, almost there.
And they work together.
Put it in perspective. We work together. Yeah. We traveled in our business for many years, over 200 days a year on the road. So you want to put a marriage to the test, put two people in hotel rooms and airplane seats around the clock.
I don't even know if I like myself that much to be with me that much.
No way.
Much less anybody else. Holy cow.
It's a freaky relationship where we have a lot of fun. We're just blessed and thankful.
And you were telling us a bit off camera, because I just want to point out the elephant in the room, the number of guitars and keyboard that is behind you. So maybe just give us a little bit about that story.
Well, that was one of our, how we all have different callings and loves in our life. And so before Tree and I, my wife Teresa, I call her Tree, before we met, we were both pursuing music. I was playing as a young kid, and she's the singer with the microphone and the whole thing, playing the keys. And we got together and not only had that in common, but after we were able to slow life down a little bit, we got back into the music. So we've written a bunch of original music.
Really cool.
Our hobbies is going to Nashville and we play our songs for people, and always kind of that dream that we're going to sell a song or two. But what's funny, what I really get a kick out of, we have 4 grandkids. The oldest is actually 20 and in college now. But when they were little, we cut a CD with our original songs on it. And every night before they went to sleep, they had to listen to that CD. And I always laugh, and I said, someday they're going to be talking to their friends and say, hey, did your grandparents, did they write songs and make a CD for you guys too? It's kind of strange.
Well, I will say, if you guys are on Spotify, before we jump into this episode, if you guys are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, we will plug you guys in when we publish this episode. So just let us know what it is.
We're on SoundCloud.
Okay, there you go. That's great.
Nice.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Send you a link, and you can dig through it and see if there's anything that's not
cool. That's awesome.
Let's do it. Yes.
So, Kathy, tell me why specifically we are having Dennis on this episode today.
Well, we're so excited to have them as partners. I've known them quite a while, not 37 years, but pretty darn close. And we feel like our professionals are constantly looking at what's new, what's next, what are additional streams of revenue that I can master. And Dennis brings to us expertise in building. So we want to look at the new home specialist certification that they offer, and also talk a little bit about remodeling, because every market, Josh, is either my market is we're losing a lot of farmland.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of houses popping up on those rows that were cotton and tobacco. So we have a lot of new homes, but even those markets that don't, there's so many questions about remodeling. So we wanted Dennis today to talk both about the new home specialist certification and also about the remodeling certification, so that our professionals can continue to develop and seek new ways to increase their income.
Great.
So Dennis, maybe start with your background. So how did you jump into this?
Yeah, I just happened to be kind of stuck in construction my entire life. And by that, I mean, I literally, when I came from the hospital as an infant, my parents were building, they had one of these kit homes. and they were building a home. So my bedroom had just no drywall. It was open studs. And so I grew up helping, watching my parents' home being built. My father always had contracting. Uncles were contractors. So I just fell into it. So my summers as a boy was learning all the trades, plumbing, electrical, and all those things. When I was 14, other kids were out mowing grass to make some extra money. I decided to start a remodeling business. So I was doing that, and I'm tall, so they thought I was a little older than I was. Of course, then I'd show up and I was building decks and hanging doors and doing odds and ends. I'd show up the first day of the job and I'd have my tools in a wagon because you can't have a driver's license at 14. And they're thinking, what have we done? We've made a big mistake here. But anyway, been in business that long. I had a custom design custom home build business. At one point, I had a factory with 70 employees. We were creating wall panels and trusses and putting together building packages and shipped those literally from Ohio all the way down to Florida, all up and down the East Coast for builders and condos and so on. So my whole life revolved around that. And then back in it was in the 80s, I guess, late 80s, real estate companies. I was one of the only builders in the area who was cooperating, working with real estate agents. Say, hey, bring your clients in. We'll pay you commissions. Let's work together.
Yeah.
And back then, it was kind of like learning voodoo. Nobody knew how to do that business. And so the real estate company invited me to come in and talk about how to work with builders, understanding construction, and so on. And we even talked a little bit about remodeling way back then, and it grew. And so Teresa and I got together, and I said, there's a big need out here. So we launched our Certified New Home Specialist, which is all about working with builders, developers, new home buyers, land development, infill, tear downs, unbelievable opportunities. Position yourself as a new home buyer specialist. Along with that is our residential construction certified, which is all about how a home is built, materials, methods, structure, terminology. It's the product we sell as real estate professionals.
Right.
And I can't tell you how many, thousands of people have said this should have been mandatory when I got into real estate. Right. This is what I need to talk with inspectors and buyers and sellers and so on. And then about 4 years ago, the pandemic hit. We had already been working on our residential remodeling specialist designation. So we went ahead and put that all together and launched it. And part of the foundation of that, actually, Josh and Kathy, was back when the recession hit. And Kathy, you may remember this. We partnered with Lowe's Home Improvement. We launched a business called Rebuild USA. And Josh, are you familiar with the FHA 203K renovation loan? Are you familiar with it? What it is a loan through the FHA. So loan down payment, little as 3.5% down, easier qualification. They have had a loan product for many years that allowed you to buy a home, but also added additional funds to make improvements to remodel a home. Nobody knew about this. Yeah. So we made it our mission. So we created Rebuild USA, partnered with Lowe's. They were promoting it across 1,700 stores, 10,000 licensed installers. We were working with flippers. And so the knowledge and experience we had as remodelers, as builders, material suppliers, designers, all that, then we started working with all these folks. And so we learned even more about just success in the remodeling business and so on. So then when the pandemic hit, people are knocking around their homes, and some of the things they didn't like now started to become bigger problems.
Yeah.
And the dynamics that we're addressing, the dynamics that I think everyone in real estate should be considering, is that we have two situations. We have an aging housing stock. 80% of the homes in America are 20 to 25 years old or older. We're talking about 100 million homes out there that need something, updating, improvements, and so on. And we have an inventory shortage. And that inventory shortage has been measured various times. The latest numbers coming out of the NAR, somewhere in the range of 6 to 7 million homes were short to meet the household formation, to meet America's housing needs.
Yeah.
So both new homes and remodeling actually go hand in hand, and I can share that with you. But let me just throw it back to you. What thoughts or questions? Does that all make sense to you both?
Go ahead, Kathy.
It does. And the one thing I want to say, this is just kind of a PSA because Teresa and I had this conversation earlier this week. I want to be clear to all the professionals on the phone. What we're talking about is truly quality craftsmanship. So we're talking about renovation at a level that is going to bring value. We're not talking about DIY. We're not talking about go by, what people see on TV that they think is real life. I told Teresa, I want to do the show that goes back in 5 years after they've taken the supporting wall out and the roof is sagging. But it's really important for me to know that we're partnered with the two of you because of the quality, because of the craftsmanship, because of the experience, and because of the value you bring. So I want everyone to pay attention when they think about, if I'm going to journey down this path of real estate, let me do it the right way. And let me do it so that I can build repeat business through delivering good product and good knowledge and wisdom along the way.
Well, it's a great point. We've had so many people go through our courses, but they come out with an understanding. What is quality? What does that really mean? For understanding, we take folks through the process of a home being built from the ground up, how the trades interact, how to play a role and bring value. And I think one of the things I like to point out is at the heart of things, we've seen in our industry lots and lots of changes over the years, all these years together. And there's all these forces continuing to try to take the agent and the broker out of the real estate transaction.
Right.
We're going to automate this, and we're going to technology that, and we're going to AI this other thing. And there's a lot of great things that have happened there. We've dedicated our entire career to keeping the agent and the broker at the center of the transaction, truly bringing value. Now, we all watched at a time when big portals started to come up and they said, hey, we're going to be your best buddy and we're never going to compete with you. And the next thing you know, our listings are being sold to other people and we're on the outside looking in, and a lot of crazy things happened there. This opportunity, as it relates to positioning ourselves as resources to help people as it relates to improving their home, remodeling, helping them sort through opportunities and options around new homes. These are options. These are opportunities out there that we can either watch someone else come in and take our lunch again, or as an industry, we can step in and say, this is ours. No one can do this at a higher level than we can. And to your point, when the agents really understand how to do this business correctly, why try to reinvent the wheel? We've had people go through our courses who were professional remodelers, who went through our remodeling course and said, holy cow, I wish I had known half of these things when I was remodeling. Or people who say, when I was building my home, I wish I had known to ask that of a builder. I wish I had understood this or that. So I think those are important points.
I think, Kathy, you brought up a good point with the DIY. And so Ryan and I both have a lot of friends that are around our age that bought their first home in the last, let's say the last 2 or 3 years. And they may have gotten in at like a 2.1, 2.2 interest rate. And they thought that was going to be their starter home. And 5, 10, 15 years later, they were going to move into something a little bit bigger. And now they are having the conversation of, okay, this is the home that I'm going to raise my family in. This is the home that we're going to be in for 25 or 30 years because they don't want to give up that interest rate. Right. So for that, if they're trying to DIY that home, they might actually be taking value from that home as opposed to renovating it the way that they should be renovating it. And so to your point, sorry, this is a long comment.
No.
Why not use a professional? Why do it yourself?
Okay, so there's, and you're bringing up such important points. Number one, part of positioning ourselves as a residential remodeling specialist is utilizing that talent, that knowledge, all right, those connections to bring value to your sphere of influence relationships, right? So Josh, you say to me, and we've heard this all the time from people, I wanted to make improvements to my home. Even if it's going to be a DIY improvement, how do I know if they're the right improvements?
Right,
I'm good. Is there going to be an ROI?
Yeah.
And sadly, in so many cases, there's not an ROI.
Yep.
And even with the change in interest rates, many people will learn, you know what? I'm better off selling this home, biting the bullet, finding another home. And one of the concepts we share in the remodeling course is this. As a seller, do you want to sell wholesale or retail? If you want to sell wholesale, we're going to clean it up a little bit, do some landscaping, maybe a little staging. We're going to put it on the market and see what happens.
Yeah.
Now, what might happen is, some flippers may come in and buy it and then make strategic improvements and make money on it. Or another home buyer will come in and they'll enjoy an equity increase on the improvements they make. Okay. Are there strategic improvements we can make to maximize the return? And we have agents out there who are learning to do this. We have more sellers asking about this. Back to our sphere of influence. Even if you're not thinking of selling, Wouldn't it be great for you to reach out to your agent, who is your trusted advisor, just like your financial advisor, just like your attorney, just like your primary doctor, and say, before I move forward, can you give me some guidance here?
Yeah.
I'm trying to solve some problems with my home, and maybe you have some design ideas. We've launched, Teresa and I built a remodeling cost estimator that's amazing. In a matter of minutes, you can come up with the most accurate estimates of remodeling costs targeted right to your address. And it covers the entire United States and Canada, broken down, updated every 30 days. What's that, Kat?
I said, that's incredible.
Yeah.
We looked for decades. We looked for the solution. We finally found the data, and then we hired programmers and we built the technology platform to do it. But we could come in as an agent and give them great range, an idea of where the costs would be. And then what we teach in the course, a term we coined, is we're going to say, listen, you probably talk to other agents who come in and do a CMA, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. It's kind of old school, and it's really only half of where you want to be. What we're going to do is an RVA. We're going to do remodeling value analysis.
Wow.
That includes what you'd have in a CMA, and it's going to include what you're going to have in an ARV, right? An after renovation value. We're going to package that together so you can get an idea. Now, if you're a homeowner, we know the greatest hook in connecting with people, and that's what the portals have built, billion-dollar companies off of, is people want to know what their home is worth. So think about it. If you come in and you say, would you want to know what your home is worth the way it sits right now? Or would it be even better for you to know what you could do to this home that would maximize the value?
Mm-hmm.
You could invest $20,000 and you could put 30 more in your pocket. And in my mind, that's the real value of your home. It's what would be those strategic improvements? So that's selling on a retail basis. When we come with buyers, do you want to buy wholesale or retail? Do you want to pay top of the market for improvements someone else has selected, or would you want to find a home with good bones, right?
And Dennis, don't you think right now the value of, I love that, RVA?
Remodeling value analysis, yes.
Yeah,
I love that. And don't you think now, because of what Josh brought up earlier, it's even more important than it's ever been, because we've got an entire generation and population that has an amazing interest rate that'll never see again.
Exactly. And they want that help. And let's face it, we never know. Everybody fights for that point in time when somebody says, I think I want to buy or sell. Everybody, every portal, every broker, every agent, lead aggregators, everybody under the sun. If we're already in the door as their advisor, someone they trust, when the plumbing had a leak, they called up Kathy. Kathy says, no worries. I make it my business to make sure I know who a handful of the best plumbers in town are. We'll get somebody over there, right? Hey, Kathy, I need new appliances. Any advice on where I should buy it? Absolutely. I can get you 10% discount over here at such and such. They're terrific. They need to be turning to you for everything.
Yeah.
I love that.
Their homeownership experience. And then at such point, let's face it, some point they're going to buy or sell. We have people get too old for their homes. We have people whose jobs are taking them from one place to another. We have a lot of different generations, multi-generations wanting to live together. All of those drivers out there, there's really an unlimited need for people who need housing solutions. And so your expertise on the new homes, that's where the new properties, that's where the new stuff's going to come from. What's the next best thing? It's finding a home with great bones and remodeling it to be that, almost like a new home. What do you think?
So I want to jump to the new home builds really quick before we wrap up this episode. What do you see? Because you said we obviously all know this, it's low inventory right now. What do you see for the future of new home build? Ryan, for example, and his wife of 37 days just closed, and they are moving very soon, and it's a new build, right?
Yeah, we haven't closed yet. We're in the middle of.
Oh, sorry, I'm not trying to shit. Sorry. But so, what do you where do you see? I guess it's a big question across the United States, but the next 5, 10, 15 years, what do you see the trend?
No, it's a great question. It's a very important question. So remember, again, we're behind, let's say somewhere in the range of 6 to 7 housing units we're behind. New housing units are going to have to come from new construction. Builders have geared up their ability to produce housing. They're continuing to do that. Right now, they're keeping up with household formation, about 1.4 to 1.5 million homes a year.
Mm-hmm.
Their goal is to start to accelerate that. So that involves land development. There's a whole new approach to land development where investors come in and work with the builders and land bank. And I won't get into the details, but it's something that's going to make building lots more available. We're starting to apply new methods of building. There's more factory built components and so on. So builders are working to gear that up. But we literally, the kicker is we've got a runway of literally decades that builders are going to be working to keep up. But new homes in some markets is 35, 40% of all the homes sold.
Yeah.
How in the world as an agent can you not participate in that? And I think the other real powerful message is we have a concept that says you can be a waiter or you can be a creator. We talk to agents, say, well, I'm doing my marketing and all I can do is wait for the phone to ring, hope somebody wants to buy or sell.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what about inventory? Well, all we can do is hope developers develop and builders build, and hopefully we get involved in that. We say, no, you can make that phone ring. You can go out and our son is an example. He sells real estate and he does fantastic. We have people all over the country. We have people who never thought of this tracking down, I call it bird dog and land. One guy in Cleveland thought there were no new homes opportunities. We taught him how to go out and find parcels of land. He found a parcel of land, got together with a builder/developer, and they're bringing 18 luxury homes to the market. Those are all his listings. He actually has some sort of a little partnership in the land development side of it, which is a cool little bonus. But the point is, we can play a role and we could be a creator, not just a waiter. We could bring that. A fellow in Pennsylvania called me up. He's only in real estate a year and a half. He said, I had no idea how to grow my business. Everybody says it's going to take a while. You've got to work your sphere of influence, got to do a farm. He says, I decided to follow your ideas on bird, dog, and land. He now has a 200-unit subdivision he's working on. And other agents have been driving by that land for the last 15, 20 years, never even asked themselves what could be there. So that's just that's just a handful with so many success stories of agents out there who said, no, I'm going to be a creator. I'm going to make new things happen and help be a part of the solution, not just sit back and complain about the problem.
Kathy, I think you should have him join One.U.
I know. And I think that may be the name of our episode is Be a Creator, Not a Waiter.
It's
in the show notes.
Ryan and I have these like little eye moments where we already, honestly, Dennis, your attitude towards all of this is it's intoxicating.
The excitement. It just gets it exciting.
I agree. I think it's like Kathy, I reference you every time, but we're in this shifting market.
Yeah.
But for you, it doesn't. Your attitude doesn't seem phased. There's change, but with change comes opportunity, and I feel like that's
it. We tell the agent, a lot of the brokers are saying we're in this shifting market, and the agents don't know what to do. We're saying, look, you're going to remodel your business.
Yeah.
Get these skills. And I mean, they can do it in a matter of hours with our training. It's all online, self-study. People love it. We give them a full 2 years access. There's no renewals year after year on the designations. The bottom line is we're just committed to helping people find new opportunities. Another big area of opportunity, and it kind of crosses over between new construction and remodeling, is what we call infill. And I'll stand in front of a room of agents. More and more are starting to become aware, but I've been in front of a room of 2,000 agents and say, how many of you are aware of infill opportunities? And they're looking at me, what the heck is infill? Roughly 30% of all the residential building permits that have been issued in recent years are infill, which is tear downs and rebuilds, tearing down older homes and rebuilding newer homes, tearing down old apartments, building new apartments, building new homes, tearing down old commercial buildings, old hotels. Those opportunities are all over the nation. So they're not in every market, but they're in a lot of markets, right?
Most markets.
In most markets, exactly. Yeah. What we do is we teach strategies around attending planning commission meetings, the kind of relationships to build, understanding zoning. And again, the story after story. I never forget another guy who stopped me at a convention. He says, Dennis, I just had to tell you my story. I was here 2 years ago, sat in your session. I went home. He says, I took your courses. I knocked them out over a weekend. He said, I didn't even get any sleep. I just hammered through them. I put signs up in my office, in my car, and on the mirror where I get ready every morning that says, don't be a waiter, be a creator. The other thing I like to say is to build your business on purpose, right? I talk to people. Yeah, I hope my business is going to grow a little bit more this year. Make your business grow.
Yeah.
Have a plan, man. You can go out and do it. So this guy did that. Next thing you know, he was pursuing infill, and I won't get into all the details. But he said, Dennis, 2 years later, he said, I'm struggling. There, people are telling me it may take 8 to 10 years for you to really make some money in this business. He said, last year I closed $50 million worth of business. He said, I'm on track for 70 this year. While I'm here at the convention, I'm having a blast. This one was in Vegas. He says, I've got builders back home putting the finishing touches on about $12 million worth of new listings. But not just new listings. He says, what he did is I found older properties that could be torn down. I put the deal together with the homeowners, the sellers, brought them to the developer. He said, I told the builders what to build. I chose the floor plans. I selected the cabinets, the flooring. I told them what colors to paint the walls because I know exactly what the market needs.
Yep.
That's a creator. That's not sitting back hoping good things happen in your life. Let me tell you, if there's a shift in this business, number one, more than ever before, we have to be able to bring value to buyers and sellers and builders and developers out there. By the way, the small builders struggle more than ever to compete with the big builders. The big builders are more sophisticated. Every big builder was once a small builder.
Mm-hmm.
A builder building 2-3 homes a year could turn out to be building 200 in a few years if you get together with them. But we have to be able to bring value, alliterate that value, really deliver on that value. And again, I think it's a matter of changing that mindset and saying, what can I do today to solve problems, to create new opportunities? So
I agree. This fired me up. I don't know about you, Kathy, but seriously, Dennis, thank you. Like, this was a great episode. I think there's a lot for our audience to digest and break down from this. So we really appreciate you joining us.
Well, thank you. One of the reasons I'm so positive is hanging out with Kathy on and off over the years too. So
Oh yeah, Kathy's great. I mean,
there's a bubble of positive energy.
Couldn't agree more. I say we end it there.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so
There we
much,
go.
Dennis.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Kathy.
you.
We thank you for joining us today on another episode of One on One, a Realty ONE Group podcast. We are powered by One.U and ask if you have suggestions, recommendations, or questions, please email learning@realtyonegroup.com. And remember, pay close attention to the details. Listen to understand, not respond, and always be a resource, not a sales pitch.